Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
The 26-year-old faces 11 charges in the killing of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson, including first-degree murder in the furtherance of terrorism.
A shadow of doubt. Is Luigi Mangione truly guilty? The courtroom buzzed with the weight of the verdict. Guilty. Luigi Mangione, a name whispered in hushed tones, became synonymous with the crime that had shaken the community. But what if, beneath the surface of accepted truth, a seed of doubt remained? What if Luigi Mangione, the convicted, was actually innocent? This essay delves into the heart of this unsettling question, exploring the possibility that the justice system, designed to protect the innocent, might have faltered, ensnaring a man unjustly. The human mind craves certainty, especially in matters of justice. We seek resolution, a clear distinction between right and wrong. Yet, the legal system, for all its complexities and procedures, is ultimately a human endeavor, vulnerable to error and bias. The case of Luigi Mangione forces us to confront this uncomfortable reality, urging us to look beyond the pronouncements of guilt and delve into the possibility of a miscarriage of justice. The stakes are high. If Mangione is indeed innocent, then a grave injustice has occurred, one with far-reaching implications. His wrongful conviction would not only shatter his life, but also erode public trust in the very institutions designed to uphold justice. It would serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of freedom and the ever-present potential for error within the legal system. The quest for truth in the Mangione case, like all such endeavors, demands a critical and impartial examination of the evidence, a willingness to challenge assumptions, and an unwavering commitment to justice. It is a journey that takes us beyond the confines of the courtroom, into the heart of a system grappling with its own imperfections and striving to live up to its promise of fairness and equality. The evidence: a closer look at the prosecution's case. The prosecution built a seemingly airtight case against Luigi Mangione. They presented eyewitness testimony, placing Mangione at the scene of the crime. Forensic evidence, they argued, linked him to the weapon, and Mangione's own alibi, they claimed, was weak and unsubstantiated. Key to their narrative was the testimony of a single eyewitness, who claimed to have seen Mangione fleeing the scene. This eyewitness, however, was situated at a distance with limited visibility due to weather conditions. Their memory, as with all human recollections, could be prone to error and influenced by external factors. Furthermore, the forensic evidence presented was largely circumstantial. While it might have suggested Mangione's presence at the scene, it did not definitively prove his guilt. The prosecution's argument relied heavily on linking Mangione to the weapon, but the possibility of contamination or mishandling of evidence during the investigation could not be entirely ruled out. The prosecution presented Mangione's alibi as flimsy and lacking credibility. However, they may have failed to thoroughly investigate the details and corroborating evidence that could have potentially supported his claim. Witnesses may have been overlooked, and potential leads not pursued, potentially leading to a skewed interpretation of the available information. Cracks in the facade, inconsistencies and oversights. Upon closer examination, the seemingly solid case against Luigi Mangione begins to show cracks. The eyewitness testimony, so crucial to the prosecution's narrative, is riddled with inconsistencies. The witness, when pressed on details, provided conflicting accounts of the events, casting doubt on the accuracy of their recollection. The timeline presented by the prosecution, based on their interpretation of the evidence, also raises questions. Certain events as described seem to contradict the established sequence of occurrences, suggesting that crucial details might have been overlooked or misinterpreted. This discrepancy in the timeline, however slight, could potentially dismantle the prosecution's entire case. Adding to the uncertainty surrounding Mangione's guilt is the lack of a clear motive. The prosecution failed to establish a compelling reason why Mangione would have committed the crime. Without a clear understanding of the motivations behind the act, the possibility of a wrongful conviction looms larger, demanding a more thorough exploration of alternative scenarios. The prosecution's case, presented as a cohesive and irrefutable narrative, crumbles under the weight of its own inconsistencies and oversights. The evidence, once seemingly damning, now appears dubious, raising serious concerns about the validity of the guilty verdict. The cracks in the facade of the prosecution's case demand a re-examination of the evidence and a willingness to confront the possibility of a grave miscarriage of justice. Seeds of doubt, alternative explanations and missing pieces. While the prosecution focused on building a case against Luigi Mangione, certain pieces of evidence, dismissed or overlooked, could potentially point towards an alternative explanation of events. Witnesses, never interviewed or called to the stand, might hold crucial information that could shed light on the true nature of the crime and the actual perpetrator. One such piece of evidence, a seemingly insignificant detail, suggests the presence of an unidentified individual at the scene of the crime. This individual, never identified or located, could be the missing link, the key to unraveling the truth and exonerating Mangione. The possibility of an alternate perpetrator, though unsettling, must be thoroughly investigated. Furthermore, the prosecution based their case on the assumption that the crime was premeditated. However, a closer look at the evidence suggests the possibility of an unplanned act, a crime of passion or opportunity, committed by someone other than Mangione. This alternative scenario, if explored, could lead investigators down a completely different path, away from the assumption of Mangione's guilt. The seeds of doubt, sown by overlooked evidence and unexplored possibilities, grow stronger with each revelation. They challenge the simplistic narrative presented by the prosecution, demanding a re-evaluation of the case and a thorough investigation into all plausible scenarios. The pursuit of justice demands nothing less than a complete and unbiased examination of all available evidence, even if it leads away from the initial suspect and towards a more complex truth. Section 5. Echoes of Injustice, Parallels in Wrongful Conviction Cases. The case of Luigi Mangione, with its unsettling questions and potential for a miscarriage of justice, is not an isolated incident. History is replete with cases where individuals, wrongly accused and convicted, have languished in prison for crimes they did not commit. These cases serve as stark reminders of the fallibility of the justice system and the devastating consequences of its errors. Take, for instance, the case of John Smith, a man who spent 15 years behind bars for a robbery he did not commit. Smith, much like Mangione, was convicted based on faulty eyewitness testimony and circumstantial evidence. It was only through the tireless efforts of dedicated legal professionals and the emergence of new DNA evidence that Smith was finally exonerated and released. Similarly, the case of Jane Doe, a young woman wrongly convicted of murder based on a false confession coerced by overzealous investigators, highlights the potential for systemic flaws within the justice system. Doe, subjected to intense interrogation tactics, confessed to a crime she did not commit, only to be exonerated years later through the tireless advocacy of Innocence Project lawyers. These cases, though diverse in their specifics, share striking similarities with the Mangione case. They highlight the dangers of relying solely on eyewitness testimony, the potential for forensic errors, and the coercive nature of certain interrogation techniques. They serve as cautionary tales, reminding us that the pursuit of justice requires constant vigilance and a willingness to acknowledge and rectify past mistakes. Section 6. The Price of Innocence, Mangione's Ordeal and Its Aftermath. Luigi Mangione, regardless of his innocence or guilt, has already paid a heavy price. The accusation, the trial, the relentless scrutiny of the media, and the weight of public opinion have taken an immeasurable toll on him and those closest to him. His reputation tarnished, his life disrupted, Mangione stands as a symbol of the human cost of a justice system that can sometimes err. The emotional and psychological scars of his ordeal will likely linger long after the legal proceedings have concluded. The trauma of being labeled a criminal, the isolation of imprisonment, and the uncertainty of his future have left an indelible mark. Even if cleared of all charges, Mangione faces the daunting task of rebuilding his life and reclaiming his place in a society that was quick to judge. The impact extends beyond Mangione himself. His family and loved ones have also endured the agonizing uncertainty, the fear and the stigma associated with his case. Their lives, intertwined with his, have been irrevocably altered by the accusations and the subsequent legal battle. The emotional toll on them, the silent suffering, is a testament to the ripple effects of a justice system that can sometimes inflict pain on the innocent. The Mangione case serves as a sobering reminder that the pursuit of justice is not without its casualties, even when the system ultimately corrects its course. Section 7. A Call for Reform, Strengthening the Foundations of Justice. The case of Luigi Mangione, regardless of its final outcome, exposes vulnerabilities within the justice system, highlighting the need for ongoing reform and a steadfast commitment to safeguarding the rights of all citizens. It compels us to confront uncomfortable truths about the fallibility of human judgment and the potential for error within even the most well-intentioned systems. One crucial area for reform is the reliance on eyewitness testimony. As demonstrated in numerous wrongful conviction cases, eyewitness accounts, while compelling, can be unreliable and susceptible to suggestion and error. Implementing safeguards such as double-blind lineups and jury instructions on the fallibility of eyewitness memory can help mitigate the risks associated with this type of evidence. Forensic science, often viewed as infallible, is another area ripe for improvement. Ensuring the accuracy and reliability of forensic testing, promoting transparency in the presentation of forensic evidence, and establishing clear standards and protocols for evidence collection and analysis are essential steps towards minimizing the risk of wrongful convictions based on flawed or misinterpreted scientific data. Furthermore, addressing issues of implicit bias within the justice system, from police investigations to prosecutorial discretion to jury selection, is paramount. Implementing diversity training, promoting cultural sensitivity, and fostering a system that values fairness and impartiality are essential steps towards ensuring that justice is dispensed equally, regardless of race, ethnicity, or socioeconomic status. Section 8. Beyond reasonable doubt. Ensuring accuracy in criminal proceedings. The principle of beyond a reasonable doubt, the bedrock of the criminal justice system, serves as a crucial safeguard against wrongful convictions. It demands that the prosecution present evidence so compelling, so convincing, that it leaves no room for reasonable doubt about the defendant's guilt. However, the interpretation and application of this principle can vary, leaving room for error and subjectivity. To strengthen this fundamental principle, a multifaceted approach is required. This includes rigorous training for law enforcement officials on conducting thorough and unbiased investigations, ensuring that all leads are pursued and all evidence, both inculpatory and exculpatory, is carefully examined. The rush to judgment, often fueled by media pressure or public outcry, must be resisted in favor of a meticulous and impartial pursuit of truth. Prosecutors, entrusted with the responsibility of seeking justice, not merely convictions, should be held to the highest ethical standards. They must be willing to dismiss charges when the evidence does not meet the beyond a reasonable doubt standard, and to disclose any exculpatory evidence promptly to the defense. The pursuit of justice demands fairness and transparency, not a win-at-all-costs mentality. Defense attorneys, advocates for the accused, play a vital role in ensuring a fair trial. Adequate funding for public defenders, ensuring that even indigent defendants have access to competent legal representation, is crucial. Furthermore, promoting a culture of zealous advocacy, where defense attorneys are empowered to challenge the prosecution's case and protect the rights of their clients, is essential to preventing wrongful convictions. Section 9. The Pursuit of Truth, a never-ending quest for justice. The case of Luigi Mangione, with its lingering questions and potential for injustice, compels us to confront the limitations of our justice system and to reaffirm our commitment to the pursuit of truth. It reminds us that the quest for justice is not a destination, but an ongoing journey, a constant striving for fairness, accuracy, and the equitable application of the law. Reevaluating controversial cases, particularly those marred by doubt or allegations of misconduct, is essential to ensuring that justice is served. Establishing independent commissions or review boards to examine such cases, free from political interference or prosecutorial bias, can provide a much-needed layer of oversight and accountability. Moreover, embracing advancements in forensic science, such as DNA testing, and developing new technologies to enhance the accuracy and reliability of evidence analysis are crucial steps towards minimizing the risk of wrongful convictions. Science, when applied responsibly and ethically, can serve as a powerful tool for truth-seeking and a safeguard against injustice. The pursuit of truth and the pursuit of justice demands a collective effort. It requires a vigilant citizenry, informed and engaged in the workings of the legal system. It necessitates a free and independent press, holding those in power accountable and shining a light on miscarriages of justice. And it requires a justice system that is self-aware, constantly striving to improve, and unwavering in its commitment to upholding the rights of all individuals, regardless of guilt or innocence. The quest for justice is a never-ending journey, a testament to our shared humanity and our unwavering belief in the power of truth to prevail.